Hello and welcome back to Chrysalis Invictus Tarot. Tonight I have a reading for you, messages from Beaver. So this reading was brought about, as most of my readings are, with a specific encounter that I had. I was walking by a riverbank and there was a dead beaver there. And I spent a little bit of time with it, and the beaver represents industriousness, but it also disrupts and blocks and redirects flow. So that is one of the major themes and components of a beaver omen, if you will. So maybe you've had a spotting or a sighting recently, or maybe you've had one come in a vision or a dream, or maybe you're just here because you're curious. I have two piles for you in this reading that you can choose from. So this is pile number 1 from the Power Animal deck, and pile number 2 from the Animal Totem Tarot. So I will let you ground, take a nice deep breath, inhaling into the belly. And releasing out through the nose. And we'd like to call in any ancestors, guides, energies, entities that wish to be here with us to provide us messages that align with our highest and greatest good. And to honor and respect those who have carried traditions like tarot forward. And those who send energy and healing to those who are persecuted still to this day for practices that we enjoy freely. And so feeling this sense of feeling and connection in your heart space. And because in honor of the beaver, maybe coming into an awareness of flow from right to left through the heart space, from right hand to left hand, feeling yourself join into this space and into this circle. I welcome you to this reading. Use your intuition to select a pile and I will meet you there. Pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose Beaver, and it's this beaver from the Power Animal deck, and it says productiveness. Go ahead and just do it. So what I'm getting from this is that you are being empowered at this time to move through blockages, to transcend barriers, to go further than you thought that you could, or to transcend something. This is sort of like, maybe you're the first in your family to go for higher education, or to jump a tax bracket kind of thing, like that there's this feeling of going beyond what you thought was possible or what you had imagined for yourself. I'm just going to tune into any additional messages. These readings are usually fairly channeled, so bear with me. Okay. So there's a cloaked deceiver. There's someone, this could be an aspect of yourself, but there's also, it could be someone in your life who, I feel like they told you could do whatever you dreamed of. They said that you could be anything you wanted to be, but then they were really hard on you, or almost like abusive about your shortcomings. And so there is this sense of like a lack of confidence, or even if it's under the surface, like some self-worth, self-esteem issues. And so it was mixed messages, right? It was you can do anything you want to do, and it was like messages that are both supportive, but then from the same camp, from the same, so that it could be a collective of people, messages that counteract that, like really pointing out faults or being really difficult about grades, or they did this because they thought that was what was best, or they thought that was what would motivate you, but it actually had the opposite effect. And so this is what I feel like the challenge that you've been trying to overcome, or the hurdle that's been in front of you that you're breaking through. Go ahead and just do it. It doesn't feel like you can go ahead and just do it, or it hasn't felt that way. But I think maybe you're coming into a time when it will feel more like that. Let's get more from the tarot. So as always, I'm using the Wildwood Tarot for this reading. 7 of Vessels, morning. Again, the 7 of Vessels, in this deck it's morning, but in the other decks, or in the Rider-Waite, it's about all these different choices, but there's also like illusions and deceptions. So like maybe you're lured down a certain path, and you're lured there because of this this boundary, this barrier that you were experiencing. So you would take these other paths, and you were very competent sorry, competent on this path. You were competent in these other options that you were taking. You have the skills and abilities for these paths, but there was this other path that was sort of right there, that you would have had to overcome these confidence issues, or these feelings of self-worth or low self-esteem or whatever. And so you were taking other paths. And so there's this grief of, this could be failed relationships, failed opportunities, and the word failed is your language, not mine. Failed is the word that we use to keep ourselves down. Oftentimes, I mean, we can certainly reclaim words, and so that failure could be perceived as the movement into the next cup, from innocence to experience, from childhood. The 6 of Cups is a lot to do with childhood, and that feeling of innocence, and that feeling of it can come with feelings of home and being comfortable, and this is moving out of that space, so moving into something that's more uncomfortable. And so I feel you mourning the loss of these other situations, even ones that are long dead and gone. Maybe sometimes you find yourself looking back and thinking about that, and remembering, like, usually if there's someone or some sort of job, you remember like what you thought it was in the beginning, where you thought it would take you, what you thought it would mean for you. Oh, wow. The Sun of Life. Yeah, there's this new motivation and illumination. I'm filming this in the time of Aries. It's about to be Taurus. But usually I find at the end of a cycle, you get the last blast. So the big fiery energy coming in at the end. And I will upload this, I think, still during Aries season. But either way, the Sun is also representative of Leo. It's like your heart your heart and your mind are illuminated. There's a new sense of being driven. There's a new sense of, when the sun comes out, it can shed light into the dark spaces and then create shadows where there was once light. So there's a movement here of light and dark. There's a movement here of what you think is right and wrong, what is good and bad. There's this shifting expansion and growth and illumination that can change your perspective on the past, but it's also lighting a way forward. Pay attention to what has now become shadowy. What has shifted? Wow. And then on to the Great Bear. I'm going to put this over here. From 19 to 20, the completion of the cycle. And this is a passage through the underworld. So these mounds that you can see here that's guarded by the bear, these were burial mounds, but it was also where the underworld is the fairy world, or it is the, where the gods of Ireland were sent. And that's a very simplified version of what happened. But anyway, so it's a sacred place. It is a very sacred place. And it is within these mounds that you can go and receive ultimate wisdom. So through the death cycle, we receive ultimate wisdom. So I see you here moving from this illumination with a bright heart. And really what this feels like is, with the 7 of vessels, it's like you come to this really fulfilling cup, and this really fulfilling cup is your Ace of Cups. It's your Ace of Vessels. It's your self-love, a care and respect for yourself that you haven't had before, and that lights up. It's like you go into this dark place with an illuminated heart. You go into death with the most amount of life you've ever taken there. And there's fear, but it doesn't have the power it used to have. Yeah, coming into the seer. This is so powerful. The seer is seeing with her eyes closed. So she has she has the pool here for scrying, and she has the staff. The staff is like a connecting, it connects ground to sky, like it is an illuminated tool as well. But her eyes are closed, and so she's going within. She's trusting the wisdom within. So without the tools, like it's like coming to a stage of your spiritual life or practice where you recognize that you no longer need specific tools, that you are that vessel. And what happens when you get to this place is that you know that everything is already happening. Like you are your practice. You are your you are your altar. You are your place of sacred, of worship, of everything. Everything is inside of you. I don't want to be cliche here, but this is really what is happening here. Gifts are illuminated. So this is about rising to a new level of, whatever your gifts are. And even if you're not like quote unquote spiritual, whatever it is, you know, we all have gifts. Like some of us are really good listeners. So this could be like amped up to the next level of listening where, you know, maybe listening isn't draining you as much, or that you are listening in a new way, in a way that captures something in a new and important way. But the seer, I'm hearing, drives out the darkness with her beak. What do you speak? What do you speak? And we're looking at advice. Okay. So the Queen of Bows is a minor arcana version of the seer in a lot of ways. A very magical being who is not afraid of her own creativity, who is not afraid of her own power, who has stepped into her power and is not afraid of being exploited because she is certain of herself. So what that means is that someone can come to exploit you, but because you are in this space of Queen of Bows, of the seer, of illuminated transition through darkness, there isn't that same, that's where that fear went, is that you're able to trust yourself and be generous from a place of strength. You know, at the end of my yoga classes, I say that gratitude is both nourishing and protective. It allows us to be vulnerable and strong at once, to express kindness without feeling weak, and to love without fear. And that's what I feel is here for you, is happening for you. That's why the way is clear. That's why the way is clear. So your advice is to remember that you are this Queen of Bows. That you decide when and where the fire is lit. That when you are in this space, you cannot be exploited. Because there's simply nothing to take from you, because you won't be given. The Nine of Stones tradition. Wow. So this is going to carry on through your work, whatever your work is. You've come into yourself and you are beginning to fully integrate past, present, and future. I don't know why, but I'm really getting like a judgment vibe from this Nine of Stones, like a minor arcana version of judgment, where past, present, and future are coming together inside of you. Mind, body, and spirit. Just a full integration. There isn't really any advice for you. The Knight of Vessels, Eel. Okay, so there is a little bit of advice. There's still a heart blockage. There's still a hesitance. I can't even say it. So here we go. Here's the blockage. The way is clear, I feel, professionally. The way is clear in many areas of your life, but there is still something to do with your love life, your romantic life, your the way that you love in that way, that is still, it's slippery. It's still something that you fear and that gets away from you, or it feels like it can get away from you at times. So I'm going to get some advice, oracle advice. Anywhere you've cloaked, okay, so this is a message that's coming in. Anywhere you've cloaked the madness with bitterness, anywhere you have swallowed your anger or concealed the truth of your anger, this is carrying through the next cycle. This is a lesson that has not yet been learned, that will be learned. So while ways have been cleared, it's like when okay, let's take a moment to think about what happens when a beaver builds a dam. So it redirects the water, right? So there's going to be ways that the water pushes through and flows, and the flow continues. And then there's going to be ways that, the water stagnates and it pools. And then there's, there's something else to deal with. I mean, we always, whenever we transcend, there's still more to be done, right? There's still more to be looked at. And we have here the soothsayer: travel the road seldom taken. I don't think that this is, I don't think that this is as scary for you as it used to be. I really feel like the road that hasn't been taken is the familiar road for you at this point, with all that you've been through. And we have Walker on the Wind. I'm gonna have to pull it back here to read it, and then find my glasses. Nope. Here we go. The raven shows the way. Be courageous. Change and chance can bring exciting wonders. Yes. I feel this so strongly for you, that there's this like courageous heart. You're ready for this courageous heart. You're ready for this step, and you're ready and open for this change and chance, for things to be open. It's almost like you've released a certain amount of control and then leveled up on an intuitive, instinctual level. That's going to be really cool. It's going to be really cool for you going forward. My throat is getting so sore. So there's definitely things that you have not said that... Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. If you have, let's say there's a relationship in your life where you have not spoken your truth. Maybe it's not for you to speak the truth in that relationship. Maybe it's carrying forward into the next one, carrying forward into the next relationship, starting them off on that level where it's like, I have this problem, communicating your problem, and then moving on with that, and just being fully aware of the situations where you are not speaking your truth, and why. Why are you not saying those things? And the witch hair, which says, cross the threshold, leap the hedge, go over the wall. Yeah, this is all about that transcending, that the witch hair, the witch hair, the witch hair. Don't be surprised if hair, I would honestly, if you do journey work, or dream work, or anything visualization work, I would look into the hair. I know that we were working with Beaver here, but I feel like Beaver is leading you to the hair as well. I think I'm going to leave it there for you. I hope this was illuminating in some way. Please leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Pile number 2, welcome to your reading. You chose the King of Cups, this little beaver fella. All right, so this is murky relationships. This is coming through navigating feelings of jealousy, of insecurity, of curbing the need to control, to contrive, to get revenge. There's a lot of Scorpio shadow type stuff, if that means anything to you, that's being worked through here in pile number 2. Give me a moment while I tune in. Okay, so I'm hearing specifically, I've noticed you climb and I want to see you fall. So again, with the jealousy, envy, insecurity. So this could be toward you, or this could be feelings that you have towards someone else. And I want to make that clear, you know, like in a lot of readings or a lot of teachings, it'll be like, oh, someone's going to be aggressive toward you, or someone is envious of you. But we could very well be the person who is, just because we're watching a tarot video or we're a spiritual person or we practice, you know, self-care or shadow work, doesn't mean that we can't be the person who is doing these things. So I ask of all of the people who watch my channel to, you know, come with a little bit of self-awareness, okay? Just like, and no judgment, but just like, you know, if it's yours, own it. And it's better if you do. And the people that we hurt or wrong are going to be more appreciative of that self-awareness than they would be of us denying that it exists. I also think it's good for us to acknowledge these things exist. So let's see what other messages are coming through about this. Ooh, okay. The Green Man. And Death in Reverse. You're feeling a little bit left behind or disempowered. It could be that someone is making you feel inferior, or maybe they're not making you feel inferior, but you feel inferior. The energies that I'm getting here, and again, Scorpio, here, Scorpio and Aries specifically. What a powerful combo. I'm getting someone has picked your brain, or someone has picked up on an idea and they ran with it. Or you were making something and someone took it from you. You feel that someone has taken from you. So this could be energetically, this could be physically, like someone has actually stolen something from you. An idea, a truth. Someone who wears truth like a suit, who puts it on. Okay. So there's been some deception, and this is heavily work-based, or something you've put a lot of work into. Yeah, it feels lonely. And sometimes maddening, and sometimes crazy, and sometimes overwhelming. I want to get some advice about this situation before I say anything more. I'm looking for that turnaround, that movement toward the King of Cups, who has mastered these emotions and these feelings. Yeah. Okay, I want to say that the dedication that you put into a particular situation, whatever the situation is for you, is not lost. It is not lost, because somehow through this situation you come to recognize what a resource you are, how bountiful you are. And it feels like you're, with the skill and the dedication and the green man and all of the energies that are present here, it feels like you have everything you need to be this emperor and to transform and transmute this situation's energy. So what is holding you back from doing so? I think it's that it's like not letting go of something that needs to be let go of. Like letting something die, letting something... okay. Disappointment, heartbreak, a wish that this feels like you thought you had something to offer that was really, really good. It was or you were in a situation where it felt like a wish come true. Like you got this job or this relationship and it felt, and you can't let go of that moment of falling in love with whatever it was. And you can't let go of how much work you've put into it, and this attachment is holding you so tightly that you're not able to see this beautiful resource that you are, or you haven't been able to. Again, put yourself on this timeline wherever you are. So this could be future energies, this could be past energies, this could be present. You're holding love in both your hands with a community behind you and a community in front of you. You are in a space between. Whatever is lost, every time you think of it, it pulls you under. Like a bad dream. But in front of you is this new dream that's even better, that's even greater. But the emotional thing, give me one more card. The stag. Nothing has yet grounded itself. It's like this parallel life that you're still living, and you need to jump into the present timeline. So there's a part of you that's still like, oh, if I was doing this or if I was in this relationship, I would be here now. And so there's a part of you that's still living there. And to come into this King of Cups energy, into this like intuitive boss emotional energy where you've got this, you've got it handled, whatever comes up, where you recognize the resource that you are, where you recognize the gifts and when you come together with others in the way that you have been wanting to do that, you have to jump from that timeline to the present. But there's something missing materially. There's something missing. It's almost like a movement in your body that's missing, or a drum beat, or a rhythm. Something really primal. Like working rage out in your body somehow. So this could be dance. This could be, how do people work rage out? They run, box, fight, like martial arts kind of thing. Dance. I already said dance. I think I've said dance 3 times. Says keep going, trust yourself, you have all you need. Yeah, it almost feels like this rage believes, or this thing that is holding you, this timeline, this parallel situation is holding you. It's like you believe that you left something there, that you lost something there. But if you keep going the way that you are, you're going to find something better. Transform. Come into this Emperor energy, this Green Man energy. Yes, the wild god. Go to the woods, to moss, to mud, to magic. Go into so the wildwood tarot. The wildwood is representative of the journey from the Fool to the Great Bear. No, that was in the other reading. I'm pointing to the wrong card. So to completion, like it's a cycle, right? And so you walk into the wildwood. That is the path, the quest to freedom, to enlightenment, to self-actualization, whatever you want to call it. That's the path. And the wild god, you have the Green Man. This is definitely working with the primal masculine through this whole thing. Yeah, primal masculine for sure. And so you go to the woods. That is the beginning of the journey. To moss, that is the awakening part, where you're just having all of these illuminated ideas, and everything's really exciting, and everything's transforming, and you just feel like it's really thrilling and exciting. And then you get into the shadow work portion, you get into the mud, you get stuck. And this is the thing, is like, this is not low level, or this is not a low level of awareness of your, like, I don't think I'm telling you something you don't know about, like the jealousy or the envy or the insecurity. I think that what it is that these things are highlighted for you now. You can see them more clearly. And so that's when you get stuck in the mud, is that you are owning and recognizing that, hey, I have these faults and I can't ignore them anymore. I can't just let myself ignore or turn away from the fact that I have these shadowy feelings, right? And so that's the mud. And then the last stage is to magic. But it's also the stages of transmutation, of energy transmutation. So where you take something like hatred and you transform it into love, or you take fear and you turn it into love. And for me, it's almost like a tap in your heart. And sometimes it's really creaky. Like sometimes it's really hard to turn that dial or that tap. It's almost rusty, and so you've got to yank it. But like if you're feeling really intense fear or envy or jealousy or insecurity, to just sit with it and see if you can turn that dial in your heart and find love, find compassion, find something that will transmute the intensity of those feelings of rage or whatever it is that's coming up for you from that King of Cups. Pride could have a lot to do with pride. This is very dark. I cannot read it. I'm gonna have to put it near a candle or something. Please bear with me. Take some deep breaths. Enjoy yourself for a moment. I had a sip of tea. It was lovely. Will we ever know what this message is? Okay. It says, literally, I cannot see it. I'll be right back. I'm trying to light it up with my cell phone, and even then I can't see it. Okay. Okay, I got it. It is the Green Witch, and it says connect. Oh, geez. Connect to the spirits and energy of your local landscape. Seek enchantment. There we go. We got it. This is a lot to do with grounding yourself in nature, grounding yourself in like primal energies. Primal energies, for sure. So the way to disrupt or change the flow, this is a message from Beaver, is to connect with your primal energies, to connect with your masculine and to heal your masculine. So this can be done through many different ways, but taking a look at your relationship with your father, taking a look at what the masculine is or means to you, how you express your masculinity. So I think probably you know that masculinity isn't something that only men have. It's something that we all have. And, what is the toxic masculine in you? How is that expressed? How do you distort the energies of the masculine? I'm going to leave it there. I hope this was helpful or illuminating or whatever. I don't know what to say at the end. I like you guys. Please come back and like me too, and my channel, and subscribe. Okay, bye.